Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new video. This is a DIY video. I hope to do these at least twice a month at least, so hopefully we'll have a lot more of these coming up. This video, it turned out, oh, you can't see it, oh, you can see it. This turned out so really amazing. I've been wanting to do this for a rather long time, and I've had this materials just laying around my house since before I moved out of my parents' house last year, so I think it was about time to do it. And then since my boyfriend wonderfully created me a overhead bird's eye camera rig, I have been able to properly film DIY videos. But today's video is going to be how I made this adorable, oh, it's actually the sweetest thing, this adorable bat, as well as this awesome coffin cross pillow. Both of these are made out of the same blanket. I have so much blanket left, so if you guys have any ideas of what other shapes I could do little stuffy pillows out of, I'd be super excited to know. So I did this bat one here as well as a coffin one. Now they both use pretty much the same techniques to make them, but there's slightly different things. This one's the plain bat, this one has a plique. So I hope this video is educational and also really cute. As I moved into a new place, these are going to go so well in my living room or in my bedroom, and this bat is, this is the cutest thing I've ever made in my entire life, so I am super excited to put these around the house. But let's get into it, shall we? So guys, here's what you're going to need for this DIY. So I've got everything laid out. You're going to obviously need some fabric. So here I have a blanket. This was purchased from Primark, I want to say like 2 years ago, and I do believe they still do carry this. Now my grandma and I really have a thing about making pyjama bottoms out of Primark blankets, but I bought this just because I wanted a blanket, and I haven't found myself using it since I've moved out, and I now have enough blankets enough blankets for like a small family, and there's only 2 of us, so I'm going to be turning this into a cushion. I've also got this bit of faux leather to add any details I want to add. Something I couldn't quite fit in is that you're going to want some polyfill. This is actually a old cushion that I made, well, my nan, not my mum, made back when I was still living in New Zealand, and it's also filled with some stuffing from a old project that I did. So we're going to use this, and then I also purchased this polyfill. I don't even know why. I think it was for this DIY, but it was so long ago. But I got this from, it says right there, from Hobbycraft. So yeah, I think it's like £3 or something like that. It was quite cheap, and this is just leftover polyfill. If you go thrifting and find some cushions you can use, or have old cushions, you can use them as well. But I already own both of these things. I am going to be using them. You're also going to want some patterns. Now these I've printed out. They don't look like much, but to get the size I wanted, I had to print them out in 2 different formats. So this is a bat that I have spread out across 2 A4 sheets of paper, and I'll be taping it together. And then this is a coffin that I have done over 3 bits of A4 paper that I'm going to be attempting to piece together. I hope it works as well as I have in my head. Once I get it cut out, it'll be a little bit easier to piece together, and I have some tape to piece that together. And then for that, I've got a pair of paper scissors. These are also double up as fabric scissors, so we'll have to see. I've got a pair of fabric scissors here. These are actually pinking shears, so I can't find my actual fabric ones, but I have some other scissors lying around that I can also use. I've got some needle and thread. Now I'm not going to be entirely hand sewing this, but you totally could. I'm using my sewing machine because it's just a little bit quicker, but you will need this to finish it off. And I've got some sewing pins, and I think that is all we're going to need. So let's get into it. What I'm going to start out by doing is cutting out my patterns, and I'm going to go around the big black line. Now there's no specific way to print these out, I just printed it out a little bit of trial and error to see how it worked, and I just got some bat and coffin outlines off of the internet. One thing you will notice with printers is they always leave like a margin around the outside. So what I did, rather than printing it right close to the edge, I just left a little bit extra, just so I can make sure that it wouldn't become an issue. I'm going to leave the coffin ones till a bit later because I'm being a bit lazy. So now we have experienced the terrible cutting skills that I possess, let us attach these 2 together. So you can see that this should line up like that. I'm going to use a bit of brown tape because I haven't actually got the foggiest as to where my sellotape is. So Now it is time to grab our fabric. If you've ever done dressmaking, this is probably exactly the same as you would with that. I'm going to use this black border as my seam allowance-ish, so the actual pillow will be the size of the white inside. So it isn't that big, but it's more of an accessory pillow, less of a functional one. So I'm going to fold this directly in half. Because I want to hopefully get 2 cushions or more out of this, I'm going to just fold it on the edge. So here is our material. I've matched it up as best as I can. This has been warped after like years of use, so I'm hoping that's okay. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to cut out this square so I don't have to work with all this other material, so it's a bit easier to cut out. Then I'm going to just pin this down onto this using my pins. Now that this is all pinned, I'm going to take this small pair of fabric shears and I'm going to cut around the edges. I'm using this really tiny pair rather than my bigger pair because I'll be able to get in the little nooks and crannies. Oh my god, that took forever. And then if your work desk looks like this afterwards, you might want to reevaluate your life choices. Why? Because I'm going to take the pins out so we can see. Now that we have our 2 vaguely looking bat shapes, we are going to want to put them right sides together. And then I'm going to repin this. Now you want to leave an area where you can stuff the stuffing inside. So I think I'm going to leave this wing part down here. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to end here, and for that I'm going to use some colour coordinated pins, and I'm going to pin vertically like this. It's a dressmaking technique, so you can sew over the pins. So it's now all pinned together. I did do a little bit of an impromptu surgery on our bat's ears just here, just I didn't think that the gap we had was going to be enough. Now I'm going to put him underneath our sewing machine and sew all around the edges except for this part here. And then hopefully we can get rid of all this fluff that's everywhere. And I'm also going to go really slow for this, just so I can get around those corners, and I'm starting my needle down. So now that that's done, we can take all the pins out, move the sewing machine up to one side, and now we can turn this inside out through the little hole that we left. So I'm just going to start by clipping off any excess string. I'm also going to go to the corners and I'm just going to clip as close to the seaming as is safe, just a straight line, just so it turns out a bit nicer. Okay, so now we've clipped it off, now we can just turn it inside out. And even though I did backstitch at the stitches on the opening, I'm being really super duper careful when I'm flipping this inside out. And then if you need help getting your points turned out, you can use a pencil and just be really gentle when using a pencil because it can be sharp and it can poke through the material. Somehow our bat has ended up headless. So our bat's got very small ears, but I think it just makes him cuter. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my stuffing, I'm going to start shoving it in here. I'm also going to sort out whatever's going on there. I'm going to start shoving it in here, then we can just sew up our little opening with stitching. We just get our stuffing. What you can also do is if you have any scrap fabrics lying around, or like these little fluffy bits, you can also just put them in there as well. I'll add to the bulk and it's a good way to recycle them. Kind of like work it into the other side first, if that makes sense. So you can see here the wing is done. I've just been shoving it into the points and then we can start working our way along. Something you want to make sure of is that you're really pushing it into the points. Now on something like this, it does have a lot of points on it, so there's more points to fill out, but on like the coffin that should be quite easy. It only has 4 points or so it's not really that difficult. So we have like one half pretty much done. I've got to fill out the bottom bit. It's really just a case of like shoving it in and seeing where it takes you. Clever choice of words. Now I'm going to start filling out this side. As you can see, it's coming together really quite nicely. I was working on the points down here just to get them out, and I think we are nearly ready to seal it up. So to seal it up, what we're going to do is we're going to fold these bits in and then with needle and thread just seal it together. I'm pretty sure it's got enough stuffing. If it doesn't, I can always just shift some more around. I'm going to add like a little bit more in there. So I'm going to go grab my needle and thread and start sewing this bad boy up. You can also add some more in if you're getting close to sealing it up and just think it needs a little bit more stuffing in there. And that is the cushion done. It is honestly like the cutest thing I've ever made. Oh, it's so adorable. With the stitches here, I want to kind of fluff the fluff around a little bit, and if you want to just snip some of the fluff off so it looks like all the other seams where the fluff's tucked inside. But yeah, that is it, and let's get on to the other one. So now that I've finished having a moment of how goddamn cute this pillow is, I'm going to try and semi-clear up the mess so we can get on to our next project, but let's be honest, this is going to be a mess. Probably exactly the same as we did with the other pillow, but first things first, we got to cut out our pattern pieces. Let's get some snippeting. So now we have a rough-ish estimate of our coffin pillow. I'm going to get my fabric again, and we're going to do the exact same process of just getting it on the material, cutting it out, and then I'm going to show you basically what I did for the rest of it, but it's straightforward, same as the first one. This one wanted to be a little bit easier. There were no hard angles to turn it here, and I'm going to show you how I add the applique cross on as well. So I'm going to put this to one side, and I'm going to work on the cross, and I can just really freehand this. It's not something it's not too difficult. So I've got this faux leather material. Now I can't remember where I picked this up from, why I bought it or anything, but it's going to be about the perfect length for our cross, saying if the cross ends here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go on the other side, and I'm going to grab some tailor's chalk or pen or pencil, and I'm going to trace out a cross. So what I'm going to start by doing is cutting out a really big cross, just so I can cut it down if I need to, and it's just a little bit easier than cutting out one that's too small. Sizing that up, I think this will work. So I'm going to first take all the pins out of this, and then making sure I have the right side of one of the pieces of fabric, being this one. I'm going to position this on there, and then I'm going to, I don't really want to pin it, but I'm going to pin it in a few places. And then to sew this on, I'm going to use a zigzag stitch all the way around the edges, just to make sure we get a nice clean finish. So now that this piece has been finished, the applique, I'm going to take the other piece and pin it right sides together, and then I'm going to sew all the sides but a little section here at the bottom so I can stuff it. I'm going to pin it together first, same as we did the other one, so let's do that. Now I've got it pinned together, we're just going to sew all the edges, making sure we get these corners real sharp. That's how we get the real coffin look, and I'm going to use a straight stitch for that. So now that this one has been taken off the machine, we can take all the pins out. Then I'm also just going to clip the corners so we can turn it out with the point being a good solid point. And then now we get to turn this inside out as well. And then what we want to go and do is either taking a pencil or your finger, just go in and kind of poke out the corners just to make sure they are really like solid, if that makes sense. And then we get to go in with our stuffing, so let's do that. So on this one I'm using my chunkier stuffing. This isn't as like diced as the other one, and I think that might be because the other one is from Build-A-Bear Workshop and they've already like pre-fluffed their stuffing, so that means it can go into the teddy bears a lot easier and get into the crevices. Now because this one doesn't really have many crevices, unlike the bat one, I'm going to go with the regular stuff. I'm not going to bother fluffing this out, but you always could do. You could always have a little look and see how they do theirs. But I don't think it's really an issue. I don't think it really cause much difficulty, but it is going to mean that I get to stuff mine with my polyfill. So now that I've got this pretty much fully stuffed, I'm going to add a little bit more in just to the corners at the bottom. I'm going to take my needle and thread again, and I'm going to sew that up with just using a basic whip stitch, the exact same as we did with the other one. Now we're looking a bit lumpy in places, so I'm going to take my hand in before and kind of just fill it out a little bit. Then I think we can just sew up the bottom same way, folding the edges in, and then we'll be good to go. So I'm going to get my needle and thread and do that. So guys, that was it for the DIY. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. Which out of these two is your favourite? Personally, I think this one wins out. It is just so adorable and it's so small and it's just so cute that I just can't help but love this one. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you going to make these? If you do make them, I'd love to like see your little recreations of these. So guys, before we go, a huge thank you to our patrons, because without them videos like this would not be possible. I'll have my Patreon links down below as well as in the end cards. But that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please just like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!